Alright, so we are yet again moving this car with the tractor.
For the 12th time. Well, we got a young buddy right here coming to pick up his first hot rod.
It's going on the trailer. It's got a new home.
So the guys at Flying Hammer were like, hey, Nick, why don't you go put a cage in this thing and then go sell it? And I thought about it, and we debated it for a little while, but we just got too much. We got too much stuff going on. Not enough time of the day. So I said, Tom, how about this? What if we just give the thing away? I said, I'll make a post. I said, we'll probably have it gone by the weekend. So he said, if it doesn't get gone, he said, I need this car gone. I said, I'm just gonna give it away to a kid. He said, if you don't want to sell it, he said, I said, I don't want to sell the thing, I'll just give it away. So, whatever. Since we're YouTube superstars making all the millions.
Yeah, giving away free stuff. These guys here drove up from Georgia though, and
what was it, 3.5 hour ride?
Yeah, about 3 hours, 40 minutes, something like that.
The whole family made the ride? They even got a little blue healer in the truck.
red healer.
Red healer?
Yes, sir, ready.
I'm not a sir, I'm just like, I was like your age like 2 years ago.
Alright.
You all coming back?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on the other side because the rear is kind of close to the BMW over here.
Usually don't use them. Someone left the welding gas on. I got a big head. Yeah, push it in. Push it in. And then twist it. So push. Which way does it twist?
Yep.
Counterclockwise. Loosen that.
You don't know that. You don't make it too good.
How does a nut unscrew from a bolt?
Don't ask Maddy. Maddy will go like, I always tell her, you gotta look at the way the thing's facing, because like, she'll be looking at it from the top and be tightening the damn thing.
No, it depends on if I have like a ratcheting wrench or something. I always have to, like,
Flip the wrench over.
yeah, I'll get her like one like wrist swing, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going the wrong way. Get to teaching.
I am teaching. Okay. All right. This is 0. Like these ones have a dial on them, so you can set it to 0. So like if you were measuring something and then when you compare it, you could set it to 0 on the go, but
And find the difference.
find the difference. Okay. Set it to 0. Okay. You hold it kind of like this, and it's got a little thumb roller here. Okay. So tell me the thickness of that one, and that one.
Yes, sir.
So just like you can stand up there. Yeah. I'll roll it the other way.
Other side.
Yep. Put it on there. Now close it up. Okay. What does that read?
Looks
Right around 50?
right, or yes, sir, 45-ish.
45-ish. But see how there's a 2 in front of it?
Yes, sir.
That's 245 thou. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So 245 is 245 thousandths. So something like this, if you were back cut it 50%, you could weld it like 120 amps and have a, like 125 amps. But ideally, 1/4 inch thick stuff, you can weld it about 250 amps because it's about 1 amp per thousandths. Okay, something like this. This is probably 1/8 inch weld, so this will probably be like 125-ish. So. You want to get it right at the edge there? 130.
130.
Okay? So something this, like you can weld like, you need to have a minimum of like 130 amps to weld it. You could set the welder at like 145 amps for that one. Okay? And this one here, that's probably like, I don't know, 45 to 60-ish. Probably 60 or something like that.
Oh, wait. I think I'm going one.
Yep.
Get down.
Yep. Push forward a little bit. Right around 40, 45. Okay? So, something like this, you could set the welder at like 50 amps. Okay, so it's about 1 amp per thousandths of material.
Yes, sir.
1/8 inch is 125, 1/4 inch is 250, 3/8 is 375, so on and so forth. Okay. So, if we're gonna use the welder here, let's say we're gonna weld this piece, okay? We can set this up to about, we'll set it about somewhere like 140 amps. You can put these gloves on. We're gonna start with no material. Right-handed? Okay, so you want to be able to, like, you want to hold it kind of like a pen, right? But like, I like, not necessarily the smartest idea, but I like resting this over my neck, okay? Because then this makes this basically weigh nothing, right? Like I could hold it with like one penny or with one pinky, right? But if I got to hold it off with all this weight and stuff like that, it makes you a whole lot less stable, okay? So we'll like rest it over like your shoulder kind of thing, and hold this so like it's a lot lighter, okay? Now take this, like, let's take this off, and now hold it. You feel all that weight on there? So you can take a lot of the weight off your hand, so it's a lot easier on your stability. Okay, we'll weld just from like here down. Okay, so if I'm gonna weld, I'll do a temporary pass without touching the gas or nothing like that. So just put your hand in a position, like ready, just like we're gonna weld like a line like that. Okay, so put your hand down there. Without touching it, yeah, you want about basically about the thickness of this material away, just over that. Okay, so like ideally if you're using like 16th, I try to keep about like 3/30 seconds away. Okay, because when you're filling it, sometimes if the puddle's a little on the cold side, this sucker is gonna ball up a little bit. Okay, so if you have too much heat, or if you have too much heat in this guy and not enough heat in this guy's gonna ball up. Okay, so this thing that's that small is gonna like get bigger, and then it'll roll up and it'll jump to this guy and screw up your electrode, right? So I always try to give a little bit of extra room, and just in case this does ball up a little bit, you have time to give it a little bit more pedal to drop it in, right? So the gas pedal right there, it's basically just a gas pedal, right? It's like a gas pedal for an electric car, right? It's just the amount of power you give it. So there's all different types of deals. So I'm gonna shut this off again. So you could go and hit the gas, get your,
Okay.
yeah. So like go 0 to full throttle. Okay. See, like me, I can't weld in boots. Like I'll literally weld barefoot sometimes, because like boots, like it's hard to like have that ankle rotation there, and like I feel like it's a little, maybe it's because like I burnt my feet and stuff like that, but it's a little bit harder to have like that rotation in your ankle with boots on,
Yes, sir.
or like something like boots that are like tied up tight, right? Because like
These are
they
light.
support your ankles, right?
These don't even have soles in them.
Okay, so like if you can't, like you got to be able to like articulate your ankle to be able to work the pedal.
Yes, sir.
So put the pedal in a position where you're comfortable with it. Like if you want to step over you can step over the bar if you want, and move the pedal a little bit.
Or
Then-
might go back under and
Yeah, just move it wherever it's comfortable.
right there.
And you always want to move the pedal to a position like where your foot's working on it at 90 degrees, right? There's sometimes like when you're welding a car, like you gotta put it between your knees or something like that. But for starting off, you want to have your foot always at 90 degrees to the pedal, so like you know what position your ankle's in, so you know how much gas you're giving it, right? So you're consistent. So go and get yourself comfortable, move your piece to an area where you're like happy, and then just do a dummy weld.
Right, so just act like I'm welding this?
Yeah, just act like you're welding, right?
So like about like right there.
You can go a little bit higher. Yeah, about like that. Okay, and just
Go down.
yeah,
About that like fast or?
about that height. I could tell you to slow up or slow down. Okay,
Is it?
and then we'll start. At first, we're just going to keep a consistent pedal. Okay, you'll see it start. If you look close, you want to have your head fairly close. You'll see it start to get shiny. When it starts to get shiny, that's when you know it's melting. Okay, so like if you're ever using a torch, it'll go from like this color to like almost like a grayish color to a dull red to a shiny. When it's at a shiny point, it's starting to melt. So like if you're ever gonna have to take like something out of aluminum head, you don't want it to get to that shiny point, because when it gets to that shiny point, you're melting your aluminum like 20 degrees warmer than that. It's a very shallow deal there. So we set up our welder to like 135 amps. So we get it nice and close, be comfortable.
Do I need to hit the gas?
Yep, whenever you get it close. So, yep, go on and hit gas. Hold up. Gotta have a ground too, but someone disconnected apparently. Alright, go on.
I got my hand on the table, right?
Yep, whenever you're ready. Touched it. Go on. More gas, more gas, more gas. Slower, slower, slower. See how it's shiny?
Yes, sir.
Line?
Yeah, do another line. You got pull, now start pulsing the throttle. Yep. A little less gas. Keep on moving it. You had some decent consistency right here, where you started working the throttle right at the end of it, where you started. See how like this is about the right thickness. So see how that's about the right thickness there. And see how this is like a puddle here. You sat here for too long. It started getting shiny, and then you just sat there. And then you started moving a little bit, and then you got your consistency for like 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and then the fifth one would have been a good one, but you got to the edge of the pedal. When you get to the edge of material, you gotta back it off a little bit more, because the heat has nowhere to go. So like here, you got all this material around it to absorb the heat. When you're at the end, you got no material to absorb, right? So you gotta back off the pedal. But I didn't teach you that the first time, so you're perfectly fine. Try to do another one here, and then when you start to see it get shiny, tell me and start moving, okay? Let me know when it gets shiny before you start moving. Starting to get shiny. It wasn't bad, but you're only about quarter throttle. Okay, so I'll go in here. How you fine? You can see. Ready? Good. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See how it's got shiny there?
Yes, sir. Big difference from
It's okay. Alright? Now, I'm going to do it again, but I don't want you to watch me up here. Just watch my foot, okay? Where it's shiny. See how I had the pedal was pretty consistent? Alright, now try to mimic that. Wait 1 second. Do it with your foot right now.
Okay.
Pretend you're welding.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, but a little bit. Now work the pedal. More. So right now so go take your foot all the way off the throttle.
That's
Yep. So 0. Okay.
sir.
Now give it some gas. More. That's about half throttle.
Yes, sir.
Now go a little more. That's about 3/4 throttle. Now go all the way. All right, that's full throttle. Ideally you want to set up your welder so you're never full throttle. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You want to be between like 50 and 75% to work the puddle, because there's going to be times when you need to add a little bit more, and there's times when you got to back off a little more. So you want to set up your set it up so you're averaging between like 50 and 75% throttle. All right, so go to half throttle. Okay,
Right there.
that's about where you're going to be welding. Okay, so we'll start off there. Like ideally, when you start welding something, you don't want to put a lot of heat into it, right? So you'll basically go full throttle until you see shininess. Then you back off to like half throttle, and then you go to 3/4 throttle, half, 3/4, half. Okay, and like you don't have to go half and 3/4, but you pulse it a little bit. Sometimes it's more like 60 to 80, 60 to 80 kind of thing. Well, like start at like half and 3/4. All right, so like once you get good, you'll basically give it full throttle until you start to see color. Then you back it off, and then you start working the pedal from there to whatever it needs. So go on and give it like half to 3/4 throttle until it gets shininess, and then start going half to 3/4 about. Okay, you're doing a decent job working the throttle, but now you want to time it, okay? So that you give it full when you give it more throttle, okay? And then you move a little bit at half throttle, and then you give it more throttle, then you back off a little bit, move, more throttle, then back off and move, okay? Because that's when we're gonna start dabbing, okay? So you'll be at like, so you got your welder here, right? You'll be like, you'll get your puddle shiny, and then you'll give it gas and dab, then take off, give it gas and dab, give it off and dab, all right? So like, you'll be feeding the material and hitting the gas at the same time, okay? And then you move, and then you feed, move and feed. Okay, so go ahead and start it. Get it shiny. Alright, give it some gas. Alright, let off and move. Gas. Let off. Ready? You're going a little too much, okay? Ready? Gas. Now let off. Gas. Let off. Gas. Let off. Gas. Okay, you're doing decent there, but you started getting far away. Okay? So get it so you can see. I see how you're doing all right here, okay? But give it gas, let off, and like see how little I was moving in between my spots?
Yes, sir.
Like you want to move just a small little bit, okay? So go on and give it some gas. Let off, yep. Let off, gas. You're looking good there. Let off. That heat thing is kind of like a cone, okay? So when you get far away, okay, you're putting this much heat to it, okay? When you're close to it, so like let's just say this is your surface. This is your tungsten, where the electricity is coming from, right? If you keep it here, that heat is only this wide, right? When you start getting further away, now you're putting the heat way out here. So like you want to keep that heat to a nice focalized area. So that thing's gonna put out heat kind of like this. Okay, you don't want that big of that area there. You want a nice small area. So you gotta keep it nice and tight to keep your lines nice and symmetrical. Okay, so give it one more time, and then we'll give it a couple tries with filler rod, and then you guys can take off. Just hold it with enough material. And like when you're welding, right? So if you're welding 2 inches, you should use about that much material in like a weld that's 2 inches, right? So generally speaking, like if you need a weld to make a weld 4 inches long, you need about 4 inches of material. So
About this
Get it shiny. When it's shiny, give it some gas and dip it in there. You're doing good. You're doing good in the beginning, okay? But you don't want to melt this. You want to melt this into this. So you want to put the heat here. So try it again, and you gotta make sure this is shiny before you dip this. Okay? So, and you can feed it. You can feed it on the back side of the puddle. So you could follow this, like put this here, then dip it, and then move and dip it. Now you can do it. Ready? Start with like that, okay? Just leave this here. Just leave this here, and then just work the pedal, okay? Kind of go like that for a second. Okay? Let this follow this, and then just kind of work it like that. All right, dip it. Dip, dip, dip. Okay, do it again. That was pretty decent. Go on. Is it shiny? Dip. Is it shiny? Dip. Shiny dip. Shiny dip. Shiny dip. Shiny dip. Shiny dip. Dip. That's not horrible. I mean, it's pretty bad, but not horrible.
Yeah.
No. See how it started kind of going along? See how you have holes in there? It's because there was like you moved too far for the dip, right?
Yes, sir.
But like what you were doing over here, like the ones over here, that was pretty decent. Now if you time the dip with those, you'll be doing pretty good.
You know, it might have been my first time TIG welding. I've MIG welded like once.
That wasn't bad. Let's keep this away from there, Chris.
Where you want this helmet at?
No. You think you're gonna be a pro?
Maybe not a pro. It'll take some practice. That's for
Good
sure.
enough one of these things?
Good enough for government work.
I think government work can get away with murder. Oh.
Action.
Action. So guys, I appreciate everyone that's liking and subscribing to the channel. If you saw this little video, if you're seeing this rather, because this could be the conclusion, we appreciate you following along through the whole video. More than likely, most of you guys are going to drop off before then. But the guys here at Flying Hammer, as you saw or might not have seen earlier in the video, that they were like, hey, we got this Camaro here, let's do something with it. So that young guy right there, I'm not going to name their names and stuff like that because that's a private thing. If they want to comment down below, they can see themselves. But to the other younger guys that messaged me and stuff like that, I'm sorry that we only had one to give away. But if we come across another deal or something like that, or this YouTube stuff grows to a point where we could maybe get our hands on some more cars to help spread the love of drag racing and stuff like that, or spread some projects to some people that could use a project or similar situation, that'd be pretty cool. But that young fellow right there, it was pretty refreshing to see. He was the first one to message me as far as I could do it. He was the first one to message me. He was the first one to send an email, and then he himself, 14 years old,
Yep.
just 14 years old, he gave me a call and was like, hey, he's like, I want this thing. He said, I talked to my dad a little bit, but like, I think he was at work at then. He's like, can I give you a call back a little bit? I said, sure, buddy. Like, that's fine. But that was pretty cool to slash refreshing to see a young guy that was willing to get up on the phone. It's very it's getting less and less likely, or more rare, I guess you could say, to see younger people willing to get on the phone and actually physically talk on the phone versus texting and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to see what that family does with the project. So guys, next video we'll be back working on the homegrown hustler, or the whatever, the new car, the natural born hustler, or whatever we're gonna call that thing. And I wish we were working on the homegrown hustler. We were working on a competitive car. But yeah, so Caden's over here filming this deal for you. That's why he's got a rock steady arm right here. Oh, he's doing it one-handed. Woo, woo. So we appreciate it, guys, and we're gonna get back to working on the homegrown hustler. Maddy threw this video together for you guys fairly quickly because we realized it was 6 o'clock and we didn't have a video out for you guys today, so we decided to throw this one together. Appreciate it, guys. We'll come back tomorrow for a little bit more of the build video.